it's okay.
I can ask them to pose any questions here.
Inshallah. طيب بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله الرحمة المهداة والنعمة المستعان عليه نعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل لن تجد له وليا مرشدا. أما بعد Yes, we are in the chapter from the Ihya Ulum Deen, Imam al-Ghazali, title بيان وجه العلاج لحب المدح وكراهة الذم. Imam al-Ghazali now talks about the remedy, how to address love of being praised and dislike criticism. Them like blameworthy, but here means criticism, being criticized. قال اعلم, you must know, أن أكثر الناس إنما هلكوا بخوف مذمة الناس وحب مدحهم، فصارت حركاتهم كلها موقوفة على موافق رضا الناس رجاء للمدح وخوفا من الذم وذلك من المهلكات فيجب معالجته. So that most people, what led them to spiritual distractions and have them to not have the state of goodness and purity within them is the fear of people criticizing them and loving people praising them, and therefore their movement, everything they do, start become based on what appeasing to people, what pleasing to people. Therefore they raja'an lil madhi, seeking praise and fearing criticism. And he said this is one of the muhlikat. You know, Imam Ghazali divided this book to al-muhlikat wal-munjiyat, things that hurt person, destroy person, destroy a person, and things that save a person. Muhlikat wa munjiyat. But he said this state of loving praise and fearing criticism is one of the muhlikat, one of the things that destroy a person, talking in the spiritual sense. قال وطريقه يعني the path to remedy ملاحظة الأسباب التي لأجلها يحب المدح ويكره الذم. You have to see what are the reasons that a person loves to be praised and dislike to be criticized. أما السبب الأول هو استشعار الكمال. I think Dr. Kia was translating Kamal to as what?
Kamal?
Yeah.
I don't have translation, but I would say translation is like feeling of perfection.
Feeling of perfection, but he used another word. Kia was using another word. Infallibility. Yeah. Kamal is feeling of perfection. والسبب الأول هو استشعار الكمال. That بسبب قول المادح. A person feel being, their ego being boosted, feeling the perfections because of what people say about them. فطريقك فيه أن ترجع إلى عقلك وتقول لنفسك. He said the way addressing this is to go back to yourself and think about it, reflect and contemplate. Is this quality that people mention that they have, am I really have it? Do I have this quality or not? That's the first question. Whatever a person prays you for with, do I have this? Do I have this quality or don't have it? فإذا كنت متصفا بها, if a person have that quality, فهي إما صفة تستحق بها المدح. He said either is a quality, the thing that they praise you for is something worth of being praised for, كالعلم والورع, like knowledge and piety. وإما صفة لا تستحق بها المدح, or a quality or a characteristic that you don't deserve to be praised for. Like what? كالثروة والجاه والأغراض الدنيوية. Money, a prestige, power, and all the materialistic aspect of it. Why is that so? Why Imam al-Ghazali said that the wealth and the power and so forth, a person should not be, does not deserve to be praised for that. Because those aspects of human life are tests from Allah. A test from Allah. Wealth is test. Wealth is test. All of this test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And having people start praising people because of material wealth, creating an environment where the self-worth of human being based on their power, their prestige, their beauty, how they look, and their money. And those are not supposed to be the criterion which determine self-worth of an individual. Because the praising here is pointing to a self-worth of something that the person contributing to humanity, that a person should not. Later, Imam Ghazali will say, a person may become happy that Allah given them wealth, which is fine. But if you become happy because somebody acknowledging your wealth, that's a problem. We're going to come to that in a minute. We're going to see how apply that also in our current situation. فإن كانت من الأغراض الدنيوية فالبرح بها كفرح بنبات الأرض الذي يصير على القرب هشيما تذروه الرياح وهذا من قلة العقل بل العاقل يقول كما قال المتنبئ أشد الغم عندي في سرور تيقن عنه صاحبه انتقالا. He says, if the excitement and happiness of being praised of the dunyistic dunya reasons is like a person get excited with the vegetations, plant, that in the spring you see a beautiful flowers, you see full trees full of leaves. What happened to it in the fall? Become yellow and then go down. He said dunya like that. You become excited about it, but تصبح عن قريب هشيما تدره الرياح. That is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that in the Quran. مثل الحياة الدنيا كماء أنزلناه من السماء, like a water that come from the sky. فاختلط به نبات الأرض. That it became vegetation, أصبح هشيما تدره. Then يكون مخضرا, it become greenery, and then become yellow, and then become ashes, and become not worth anything. Therefore, a Muslim in life, there's a two type of perspective a person should have. One of them comes from senses, sight, hearing, touch. That's for us to figure out the existence of material things around us. Smell. This is in relationship with our existence to the material around us. But there's also spiritual senses, which is called basira, the inner sight. The spiritual hearing, ears, that you hear, udhunu khayr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about Rasul sallam, udhunu khayr, a good ear. You listen to what is good, filtering what is good. And even there's a smell of inner smell. How? قال إني لأجد ريح الجنة دون أحد. He said, I was smelling paradise in Uhud, one of the Sahaba said. Rasulullah asked about him, said, how he feel? Go and ask him. The man is about to die. قال إني لأجد ريح الجنة. I'm smelling paradise. But other people around him, they don't smell paradise. That's the inner side of the inner ability of smelling. Therefore, there's the spiritual senses and there's the physical senses. With the physical sense, that you come to feel things, with the spiritual sense, to get to know things, get to know them. A poet named Mutanabbi, he said, the worst of sadness is come with happiness, when a person come have joy and happiness with something that he or she know for sure they're going to leave it. أشد الغم عندي في سرور تيقن عنه صاحبه انتقالا. A person got excited about something so much, knows that for sure they're going to leave it. It will be temporary. When you take your children to Chuck E. Cheese, take them to any place, they know that they're not there for long. When you take them out, they don't want to leave. Because you cannot have been Chuck E. Cheese for your life. It can be temporary. But the whole dunya is like a Chuck E. Cheese. Like a temporary enjoyment. And then you have to leave it. And therefore said, Al-Mutanabbi is saying that أشد الغم عندي في سرور تيقن عنه صاحبه انتقالا, that the person enjoying that know for sure is temporary. فيقول الإمام الغزالي رحمه الله: ولا ينبغي يفرح الإنسان بعروض الدنيا، وإن فرح فلا ينبغي يفرح بمدح المادح بها بل بوجودها، والمدح ليس هو سبب وجودها. هذه the punchline here. He said that when you become happy with material things, a person have more money, alhamdulillah, have bigger house, alhamdulillah. He said the person may become happy with that. But this become happy because Allah has given them, because is the fact that they gained this. Not because people say, you have bigger home, your home is big, your car is nice, you're this. He said, if you become happy because of people acknowledging your money, acknowledging your house, there's a problem with that. You need to explain that? Okay. Some people buy a fancy car and they park it in the way that everyone sees, like, this is my car. Oh, nice car. Now, you want many people to acknowledge the car, that the car is nice. He said, this is a problem. But you being happy with that you have a nice car is okay. بوجودها لبث والمادح لها. For example, people wear big gold, chain of gold, 3 or 4 or 5 of them. Some singers do that. Because people say what? When people see people wearing a lot of jewelry. What? He's rich. Therefore, he wants to be, his goal is people to recognize his wealth. No, not him enjoying the wealth, but he wants to enjoy the whole display. Like you have this show, used to be in America, called Rich and Famous. Rich and Famous. What they do...
Lifestyle of the rich and famous.
Huh?
Lifestyle of the rich and famous.
Lifestyle of rich and famous. Okay? Therefore, those people want people to come to see their bathroom, their toilet paper holders made of gold. So what? What's the difference if you made of gold or made of silver, you go into the bathroom? Doesn't make any sense. You know? They want to be praised for that. That's a problem. That's the issue. Therefore, here, the most important things, what brings happiness to you? Let me talk a little bit about happiness. Can I? Let's talk about happiness. There are certain things in life, if you look at them, that in some people's eyes are the source of happiness. But what brings happiness to human being is the serenity in the heart. That I'm happy with the way I look. I don't have to look like somebody else. Allah give me that look. I don't have to look like somebody else. Why should I? Allah make that person look this way, make me look this way. I'm happy with I am. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give me this much wealth, give somebody more than me. Why should I always get upset that other people have more than me? Why should I not be happy the way I am? That people says, okay, criticizing you because of your religion, because of your look, because of this. And don't let them get into nerves. One of the things I say to young people, don't let Instagram determine your happiness. Don't let Facebook define who you are. Don't let your classmate in the school determine how you should feel. Get my point? Because there's some people, the Quran says, إنما نجوى من الشيطان ليحزن الذين آمنوا. Najwa means private talk. The private talk of people against somebody, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said this from shaitan to bring sadness to somebody's heart. And you don't allow the shaitan to get to you. You hear what I'm saying? For what a person, there's 5 things bring happiness. Because we're talking about praise, because people think that praise, and there are 5 things bring happiness. Number 1, have unshakable belief that Allah is with you. Unshakable belief that Allah is with you. Inna Allah ma'ana. Why? Because of a verse in the Quran. We were together in Umrah. And what did he do when went to Qar Thawr? We said, Rasul sallam said to Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, La tahzan, don't feel depressed, don't feel down. Why? Inna Allah ma'ana. Inna Allah ma'ana. You feel the presence of Allah. If there's no human being on earth, only you on the face of the earth, Allah is with you. Inna Allah ma'ana. That's the first aspect, source of happiness, feeling Allah's presence. Number 2, that being optimistic, which is connected to Allah's presence, being optimistic. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to Khabbab ibn al-Arat, والله ليبلغن هذا الأمر ما بلغ الليل والنهار. He said, by Allah, this religion of Islam will reach as the day and the night have reaches. Because Khabbab radiallahu anhu was complaining about feeling down, being tortured and so forth. But Rasulullah telling him that don't worry about it, it's temporary. Something bigger going to happen. Good things going to happen. And Khabbab radiallahu anhu have seen that in his lifetime. That Islam spread, the fear is gone, and so forth. That's the second thing. The third is being around people give you positive energy, not negative energy. Being around people give you positive energy, not negative energy. Because sometimes you're around people that either online or in person, they're negative about life. And they want to press the negativity of them, of their life on you. This is not going to work. This is not this and that, and so forth. And they are not happy that you are happy. They are down, they want you to be down with them. And don't do that. Be around people يحبون الفأل ويكرهون التطير. Be around people, being optimistic, not be pessimistic. That's the third point. The fourth point, that you have to believe always with difficulty there's ease. At the time of difficulty there's ease. إن مع العسر يسرا. And the fifth, you have to believe that you are able and capable to overcome the difficulty that you're facing, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put in you a capacity of doing so. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Allah does not burden any human being soul with anything more than their capacity. Therefore you have to discover your capacity, your wisdom. Those are the 5 things bring happiness. Not praising people. Yani this chapter here about people worried about people praising them and worried about people criticizing them and become so much obsessed with that lead to them live unhappy life. We are in society, the likes in Facebook, the likes in Instagram, the likes in this and that, determining people's happiness. Do things not to be liked, do things to be right. Do things that bring joy to you. Pleasing to Allah, bring joy to you. And then if Allah likes you, doesn't matter who doesn't like you. If the heavens have thumb up, not hasha lillah, if angels said this, the angels. Doesn't matter who said this. It's true, young lady. Huh? If angels said this, the angels, the malaika, give you thumb up, don't worry how many people in the earth did this. That happened to Rasulullah when he went to Taif. People of Taif did what? Turn him down. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have what? Having to go to Isra wal Mi'raj. Went to 7th heaven. And all the angels said what? Marhab ya Rasulullah. Welcome ya Rasulullah. If people of earth rejected you, people of heaven accepted you. And that's what matters. That's what matters. Therefore, I have to be optimistic, to think always positively. You know, self-worth comes from Allah. Doesn't come from people. This life worth living because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because life is a gift from Allah, isn't it? The life is a gift from Allah. That's why it's worth living, because it comes from Allah. The worth of it comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, when a person lives in this life, that you have to know that our validation, being validated, come from whom? From Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala validated Rasulullah many times when people didn't do so. Noon wal qalu ma yasturun. What Allah said about that? Huh? Noon wal qalu ma yasturun. Huh? What the verse after that? Huh? نعم ما أنت بنعمة ربك بمجنون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed this Quran on you. You're not crazy. Because they call him crazy. He said, no, don't allow. You are not. With this favor of the Quran. ما أنت بنعمة ربك بمجنون. Because people, they criticize Rasulullah, say bad things about him. And Allah validated him, said to him, you are not like that. For the praise came from Allah. قال وإن كانت الصفة مما يستحق الفرح بها كالعلم والورع فينبغي أن لا يفرح بها لأن الخاتم غير معلومة وهذا إنما يقتضي الفرح لأنه يقرب عند الله زلفى خطر الخاتم باق ففي الخوف من سوء الخاتم شغل عن الفرح بكل ما في الدنيا بل الدنيا دار أحزان وغموم لا دار فرح. He says, then if the praise of something that you should become excited and become happy with it, that praise you for, like knowledge here, ilmu billah, knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, being the path toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the other aspect of it, knowledge could be not beneficial knowledge. Here, beneficial knowledge. And piety, righteousness. He said the person always should seek that the end of the game, the end of their life, is to sustain their faith, their iman. The way a person is not how you begin the race, is how you end the race. Therefore, this is sifa of being. Somebody said this person is pious. This person have wara. A person should say, Allahumma aj'alni khayran ma yadhunnun. Oh Allah, make me better what they think of me. Waghfir li ma la ya'lamun. And oh Allah, forgive the sin that they think that they don't know about me. Allahumma aj'alni khayran ma yadhunnun. Waghfir li ma la ya'lamun. Because sometimes what we don't realize is the challenge comes with that we being praised for virtues or something like that, we might things might change. Husn al-Khatima, a person who always think what the end of life, how to sustain the quality of taqwa, piety, of righteousness. Dunya dar ikhtibar. Dunya is a place of test. Therefore, he says, even if people praise you for that, you have to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you have to think about the end of life. فإن كنت تفرح بها على رجاء حسن الخاتمة فينبغي يكون فرحك بفضل الله تعالى عليك بالعلم والتقوى لا بمتعماده. And this is very important. He said that even if you become happy with that, people say this person, mashallah, hafiz of Quran, memorized Quran, this person knows tajweed, this person knows hadith, this person, mashallah, keep, righteous things and stay away from haram. He says, you should become happy with it and regarding that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you tawfiq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you success. gave you the energy, gave you the ability. He bestowed his bounty upon you that you become a good person. Not because somebody else recognizes it. What if a person does not recognize that I am doing Qiyamul Layl? Should I quit? What if a person does not recognize that I'm giving sadaqah? Should I quit? Because the problem is that if a person becomes excited with madh al-madih because of the praise of human being, then they might connect their action now to the human being acknowledgement, and that may impact the state of sincerity of it, ikhlas. No? فإن اللذة في استجعال الكمال والكمال موجود من فضل الله تعالى لا من المدح. He said because the pleasure came from feeling that you have done something good, something that perfect or good, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be happy with it. He says, this, whatever you have done good, موجود من فضل الله لا من المدح. That happened because of the bounties of Allah, not because of the praise of people. وَالْمَدْحُ تَابِعٌ لَهُ. Madh, praise, came from people acknowledging the bounty of Allah upon you. فَلِمَا يَنْبَغِي أَن تَفْرَحَ بِالْمَدْحِ وَالْمَدْحُ لَا يَزِدُكَ فَضْلًا. Said, why you have to, value your action, your deeds, because of the praise you get from it, and it does not change the bounties and the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon you. That's a very fine line here. Then somebody might ask you a question. Someone may ask a question, practical questions. Before I go to the next paragraph. Then where did the encouragement come from? Encouragement. Is encouragement something bad? You see somebody in a masjid, a young person say, MashaAllah, I'm very happy you're in a masjid. Is that something good to be said or not? Then how do you just, reconcile what Imam al-Ghazali is saying here? Yes. Absolutely. First of all, you said, MashaAllah, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, there's no strength, no power except from Allah. Even as you enter your home, you say, MashaAllah, la quwwata illa billah, attribute things to Allah. But when you acknowledge people who have not asked for the praise, but you acknowledge their praise, acknowledge them, here is different from praising people for materialistic gains. You are not doing this to become close to them because you don't have their money. You're praising them for something that good quality they're doing so they can do something better. And that requires a sincerity, ikhlas in the praise. Number one. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he was walking in Medina and he heard Quran being recited from a home. A home. This home is the home of whom? Remember? Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. For Rasulullah walking around and he recognizes Abu Musa al-Ash'ari home. But because there's notable windows, glasses, and so forth, you can hear people. If somebody recites Quran loud, you can hear it. For Rasulullah, when he heard him recite Quran, he stood next to the home to listen to the Quran and enjoy it. And next they told him, لو رأيتني البارحة, if you saw me last night, وأنا أسمع لقراءتك للقرآن, I was listening to you reciting Quran, لقد أوتيت مزمار من مزامير آل داود. You were given a voice so beautiful like Dawood alayhi salam. Your voice so beautiful. Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, radallahu anhu, he said to Rasulullah, لو علمت أنك تسمعني, if I know that you're listening to me, لحبرته لك تحبيرا. I will have beautified more. This is not my best. What you heard last night is not my best. If I know you're listening, I will have given you the best of it. حبرت لك تحبيرا. Rasul said to another Sahabi, you have two qualities Allah loves. Al-hilm wal-anaa. Forbearing and not hasting things. Rasul praised this Sahabi. But the Sahaba was not seeking the praise. Rasul gave praise him. Therefore, the balance is the following. A person should not make their action or deeds determined by whether people acknowledge it or not. Number one. For their own sincerity, ikhlas in their qalb. Whether people say is good job or not good job, doesn't matter. One. Two, if people give us feedback, criticize us, if we reject that, reject people telling us that maybe you need to change this to change that, if we reject that, that's arrogance. Because you love always to be praised, no matter what you do. The third, the matah, the acknowledgement should not be exaggerated. Should not be exaggerated. The exaggeration of praising somebody is not permissible in Islam. Don't exaggerate things. Okay? Now, a guy said to another guy, Wallahi, I'm going to tell you today. The guy said, Wallahi, I'm going to tell you today a best of story. A story they never heard of. And the guy said, okay, tell me. He started telling him a story. He said, you have to fast 30 days. He said, why? He said, because you should have told me Surah Yusuf. You should have recited Surah Yusuf. If you didn't recite Surah Yusuf, Allah said, نحن نقص عليك أحسن القصص. You praise your story too much, exaggerate it, that's the best story. And he said, Wallahi, I'm going to tell you the best story. He said, you fast 3 days because you didn't recite Surah Yusuf. You like to have that kind of friend always? He said, لكن حدث, because the Quran said, نحن نقص عليك أحسن القصص بما وحينا إليك هذا القرآن. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to stop because I realize that, we should not do all the whole hours, especially people watching in screen. It's difficult. Because I'm going to do this and then we'll stop in the السبب الثاني. وإذا كانت الصفة التي مدحت بها أنت خال عنها ففرحك بالمدح غاية الجنون ومثالك مثال من يهزأ به إنسان يقول له سبحان الله ما أكثر العطر الذي في أحشائه وما أطيب الروائح التي تفوح منه إذا قضى حاجته وهو يعلم ما تجتمع عليها معه من الأقدار والأتنان ثم يفرح بذلك. فكذلك إذا أثنوا عليك بالصلاح والورع ففرحت به والله مطلع على خبائث باطنك وغوائل سريرتك وغدار صفاتك كان ذلك من غاية الجهل. فإذا المادح إذا صدق إن صدق فيكن فرحك بصفتك التي هي من فضل الله عليك وإن كذب ينبغي أن يغمك ذلك ولا تفرح به. He said, but if a person prays somebody with something they don't have, quality they don't have, so a person, this said person of piety, of taqwa, but a person doesn't have those kinds of. He said, if a person becomes happy with person praising them with something they don't have, like a person lost their sanity. How do you become happy with people praising you something they don't have? You should feel sad. Said, I don't have this quality. You say what's said about me is not true. By the way, it's dangerous sometimes, is that where people think of a person, and they insist that that person have that quality and the person doesn't have it. Or person become love to be praised for something they don't have. يحبون أن يفرحوا بما they become happy with something they don't do. لم يفعلوا. For a person that have to be careful. For he said, he gave an example, very graphic example. He said, like a person said, this person, even as they go to relieve themselves, when they relieve themselves, nothing comes from them except perfume. He said, if a person becomes happy with that, it's crazy. He said, do not think of yourself, of something that you don't have. You have to be humble and to reject anything that. Then he says, either a person is honest or dishonest of what they said about you. If a person is honest about what he said for you, remember the criterion. Thank Allah for what Allah has given you. If a person is not honest about it, you have to tell them, I don't have this quality. Don't mention that about me. Please don't spread that about me. This is not true. So that the person check themselves before someone else check them. هذا والحمد لله رب العالمين. Any questions? Any questions? If there's no questions, any question about what you just said? Yes. The dua after the salah. As the imam making dua for somebody who's sick, and people say Ameen. Is that permissible or not? Yes. You see, people confuse things. هناك عبادات توقيفية. عبادات توقيفية we say in Arabic. An act of worship that established and you cannot add anything to it. Like salah. You cannot add one rak'ah more in Dhuhr or Asr or Maghrib or Isha. You cannot go to Arafah in the time of Hajj and say, I'm going to Hajj. There are certain things Rasul have done, but he didn't put the cap on it. He didn't put a cap. He said, you cannot do more than that. For example, the dua. Somebody said to me, if you raise your hand after the salah, making dua, it's not permissible. When you say it's not permissible, that means Allah is going to punish me if I make a dua raising your hand. Get my point? Because haram means you'll be punished for it. If a person after the salah said, Allahumma aghfir lana warhamna, said, oh, no, you're going to go to hellfire because you raise your hand. Al-Rasul raised his hand in Badr, Battle of Badr, in other places. That means that it's permissible to raise hand. He didn't say that you should not raise your hand after salah. Get my point? Right? In the Quran, Musa alayhi salam made dua. Harun was next to him. Allah said, قَدْ أُسْتُجِيبَتْ دَعْوَتُكُمَا. Allah have answered your prayer. Who made the dua? Musa alayhi salam. Therefore, Allah include Harun in the dua. Therefore, making a dua for somebody is actually bring the heart of people together. Because every time the imam make dua for somebody, you come to know so-and-so his mother is sick. You're going to comfort him. Next time, you're going to ask, how's your mother? Because you come to know that his mother is sick. Somebody child passed away, or somebody parents passed away. You come to know that, you give them condolences. Therefore, the people have to see the hikmah on that. Therefore, those people don't understand the broader Sharia. Those things has asl. There's a foundation of it in Islam. And therefore, there's no limitation, there's no limited. Rasulullah have not limited that. Okay. Tell the same person that Rasulullah did not make qunut in Taraweeh like he made in two harams, Madani and Makki. That in Taraweeh, in Witr, Jama'ah, but all of them do it. The Imam make a dua and people say Ameen after him. There's no proof that him. What I'm saying to you, but Rasulullah made qunut in Salah. But people say they can make qunut in every Salah, even in Dhuhr. Therefore, the things that have asl in Sharia, that the dua, when a person said not permissible, let's underline this. That means the Imam and all people making dua after Salah, Allah gonna punish them in hellfire. Ask this Imam to say, making dua after Salah is the source of punishment before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah gonna punish the Muslimin. No, what I'm saying to you, this has asl. Rasulullah did make dua. Rasulullah did raise his hand. The Rasulullah made a dua with the companions. Qanat, make dua in Salah against the people who have wronged his companions. جزاك الله خير. طيب جزاكم الله خير. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك لا اله الا انت استغفرك واتوب اليك. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وولنا فيمن توليت اكفنا شر ما قضيت انك تقضي بالحق ولا يقضى عليك. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما تفرقنا من بعد تفرقا معصوما ولا تجعل فينا ولا منا ولا بيننا شقيا ولا محروما وصلى اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى اله وصحبه وسلم كثيرا امين. By the way, any dhikr that come after an act of worship is more likely to be accepted. If you're making dua after salah, it's more likely to be accepted than other times. جزاكم الله.